So for those of you who are longtime subscribers, you'll know that this video is about a year late. Yep. Hey everyone, it's David, and you may be asking, why do I need any music theory if I only want to learn a few songs on the Ocarina? Well, the truth is, even if you want to play just one song, it'll be so much easier to learn and perform by having a small foundation in the basics of music theory. It'll also be a great help in reading music, writing music, and playing virtually any song by simply hearing it, but we'll get to all that in another episode. To kick us off, let's talk about pitch and the musical alphabet. When it comes to theory, the piano is your best friend because just about everything in music can be related to the keyboard. Pitch refers to how high or how low a sound is. Obviously, a pitch up here sounds different than one down on the lower end of the keyboard. There are 7 general pitches, also known as the musical alphabet. You have A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. These also have their corresponding keys on the piano. If you look closely, you can see that these keys actually repeat over and over, and this is where we begin to assign numbers to tell the letters apart. Let's look at the C's on the keyboard. Here in the center you have C4, also known as middle C. Below it you have C3, C2, and C1. Above middle C there is C5, C6, C7, and ends with C8. We say that from one C to another is an octave, while all pitches in between, not including the next C, would be in the same octave register. So if we look at C4, the pitch after it would be called D4, because it is in the same octave register. However, the pitch below C4 is B3. Let's try another example. If we start at C6, what would the next pitch be called? If you said D6, you're correct. How about the pitch below C6? If you said B5, you're also correct. Relating this back to us, whenever you see that an ocarina has a range of, let's say, A4 to F6, you can now look at the piano and know exactly how high the sound will be. This is a great help when trying to find a good range for your instrument, and generally. The sopranos are between C6 and C7. The altos are C5 to C6. The tenors are C4 to C5. And the basses between C3 and C4. Some pitches may go above or below the next octave depending on the ocarina, but whichever octave carries the most pitches determines its general range. Now we'll discuss the scale, which is a specific series of steps from one pitch to another. Today we'll focus on the major scale, but first I'll explain the 2 steps that we'll be using. First you have the half step, which is the smallest distance between 2 keys on a keyboard, one right next to the other. Looking only at the white keys, we can see that there are 2 half steps. Here between B and C, and another between E and F. A whole step skips the very next key. For example, C to D is a whole step because there's a black key in between. The same with D to E, F to G, G to A, and A to B. The pattern of steps to create the major scale is already laid out with the white keys. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. It sounds something like this. Now this pattern not only applies to the white keys, but any pitch that you wish to build a scale on. To do so, we have to introduce accidentals. An accidental is used to move your desired pitch up or down by one or more half steps. The 3 most important are the sharp, which moves a pitch up by 1 half step, the flat, which moves a pitch down by 1 half step, and the natural, which eliminates any prior accidentals from your desired pitch. Now let's say we're on G, and we want to add a sharp. When we do so, the new pitch we get is the black key just up to the right. This is known as G sharp. Not exactly rocket science. Let's go to D and say we want to add a flat. This moves us to the key just down to the left, which gives us, you guessed it, D flat. Let's try something trickier though. Say we're on A and we wish to add a sharp. This gives us A sharp. But what if we wanted to add a flat to B? We spell it B flat, but isn't it already A sharp? Well, this is known as an enharmonic, pitches that are spelled differently but sound exactly the same. C sharp and D flat, F sharp and G sharp and A flat are other enharmonic equivalents, to name a few. Having all this information, let's try to build a major scale on F. First, we have to remember the pattern of whole steps and half steps. Then we can apply it to the keys. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. As you can see, the F major scale has one flat, that being B flat. Now why is it B flat instead of A sharp? Well, whenever you construct a scale, you can only have one letter each from the musical alphabet. Let's say the letters real quick. F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. Now, it wouldn't make much sense to say A sharp because then we'd have two A's in the same scale. Not to mention, we wouldn't have a B since we skip B natural altogether. So that's how you can tell what the correct spelling is. By the way, take a quick note where the flat is in this key because we'll be using this on the Ocarina a little later. Here's what the scale sounds like. Now let's try the G major scale. Starting on G, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Now we have a pitch with another accidental, but is it F sharp or G flat? Let's say the pitches. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. And here's what it sounds like. I know it's a lot to soak in, so we'll stop here and pick up in the next episode, where we'll see how all this relates to your ocarina. Thanks for watching, and God bless.